Brenda, I'm done with the field work. I need to pop in town for a few minutes. Hello friends, welcome to the Wardenberg Family Farm with Don and Brenda. On the farm and the homestead here, we aim for self-sufficiency and sustainability. So we grow most of our own food, we raise all of our own energy. Along with that, we choose to drive an EV. Now I'm about ready to head into the store, but I know when I get to the parking lot, typically somebody will stop me and ask a question, say, how far can you drive on a battery charge? How much does it cost? Where do you charge your car at? And where do you charge it when you go on a trip? How do you know where and when to charge? And what do you expect the lifetime of the battery to last? Are you going to have to replace it someday? I'm prepared with answers of all of these, and today we're going to go over it, these questions and more. The first question I usually get is, how far can you actually drive on one charge? Now most of the EVs out there now can go anywhere from about 200 miles to 400 miles in one charge. This car here, I can go 350 miles. Now I'm an old guy, I drive pretty gently. I typically can get more than that. On the other hand, Brenda, your driving style is a little different.
I'm not quite as gentle and slow, so I probably don't get that amount.
Probably not. The other thing that impacts your distance driving is temperature. If it's below about 25 degrees or 20 degrees, it does impact the battery, and it also uses battery power to run a heat pump to provide heat for the car. So you can get anywhere from 10 to as much as 30% lower driving distance when it's very cold. But on the other hand, if you typically drive in cities and traffic, or you drive on rural roads most of the time under 50 miles an hour, your miles on a charge is going to be higher than average. Before I answer the rest of the questions, I did want to let you know that Brenda and I have been driving EVs or hybrids for the last 20 years. For the last 5 years, we've driven battery-only EVs, and this is our second one. We enjoyed both of them. Prior to that, we had a hybrid, which we still have in the family. It's almost 20 years old and still has good battery operation. So we feel very comfortable and confident in our EVs. So the second question people ask is, how much does it cost to charge your EV? Well, when we're on a road trip and using Superchargers, it can cost $30 if I need a full 350 miles. Now the beautiful thing though is when we're at home, which is most of the time, the residential electricity rates are so low it only costs $15 for a full 350 mile charge. How much does it cost to fill your car? But wait a minute, people say, we know that you generate all of your own electricity at the farm, so isn't it free to charge? Well, not really, because there's a lost opportunity cost. We could have sold that electricity back to the grid and gained that $15. So $15 is a fair evaluation, and I'm very happy with that. The third question I get asked is, where do you charge at home and how long does it take? Before I answer that, if you're considering purchasing an EV, I'd encourage you to do a study over a few months to determine how many days you actually drive more than 50 miles, 100 miles, or 200 miles. That will help determine what type of charging that you need at home. So really, you're not looking at buying a charger, you're looking at just simply buying a charging station or charging cord. The actual charger and the control mechanisms are built into the car, just as they are for other electronics that you buy. So for example, here's a charger that a cable that you would have for a laptop. And it has the converter here that changes the alternating current that comes out of your receptacle in the wall to direct current to be used in your laptop. The same with an EV. This is the charging cable. Naturally, it's a little bigger and heavier because of more current, but it does the same thing, converting alternating current from the wall into direct current, and the charger's built into your car. So in this particular setup, this cable has the ability to change the plugs depending on if you want to use a simple setup in your garage that plugs into a 110. It's either 15 or 20 amp, typical all around your house. They have these, and that will charge your car. Now, it will only add 4 or 5 miles in an hour. So if your car is parked at home for 12 hours, that means you could get 50 to 60 miles added to your battery every day. Now, if you need more than that, you can still use the same charging cable. You're simply going to have a different receptacle and likely go to 220. This is a basic for 20 amp 220, and it will give you much more. It'll give you up to 15, so it's 3 times what this other will do. It'll give you 15 miles in an hour added, or you could go up even higher, and this is a 30 amp 220, and again it uses the same charging cables. So for charging capabilities beyond what we've shown with this basic setup, we do have a charger that's mounted on one of our agricultural buildings, and it's a 220 line connected into a 40 amp breaker. And it provides up to 30 miles in an hour of charging. So it will completely charge the battery even if it's drained down to 0 over that overnight charging for 12 hours. So beyond that, we're going to show you some off-site charging options, including the destination chargers, which are at shopping centers and hotels around. And we'll also look at the superchargers, which is the very fastest way to charge. Super easy, no credit card needed. The Supercharger knows who I am and charges my account. Okay, we're fast charging, and what do you do when you're fast charging? We either go in and use the facilities to get something to eat, or a lot of times what we do is just watch YouTube. So we're going to watch our family
welcome back to
favorite.
The farm with Don and Brenda.
Today's a beautiful fall day, so we're going to take you on a tour of the whole farm.
Well, in case you can't tell, we had a snowstorm overnight. So this is the second part of question number 3. Talks about where do we charge when we're not at home. So we're going to go on a road trip, an imaginary road trip here. We might as well go to somewhere warm, right, Brenda?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's go to Florida. So all I have to do is push this little button here and tell my car where to go, or on the app on your phone, and it will tell you where the charging points are and where you go. So here we go. Navigate to Fontainebleau, Miami Beach, Florida. So it's calculating and it located it. Yep, that's the one. Okay. And we're going to go all the way down the East Coast, all the way down to Florida. And every one of these locations is a place where we can stop. Now, I just clicked on that, and it gives detail, how many stalls are there, and what are all the accommodations, restaurants, and everything that we need. So here we go.
So the car tells you everything you need to know, huh?
That's it. And is there a better way?
Well, your wife can tell you what to do, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Although sometimes the car knows better.
And the last question I commonly get from people is, how long do you expect the battery in that car to last? And are you going to have to replace it someday? Well, J.D. Power says that the battery should last from 10 to 20 years in EVs. And Tesla shows that their battery should last from 300,000 to 500,000 miles. So we've had very good experience with our EVs. Well, today I hope I answered questions you have about EVs. If you have additional questions, we do have resources in our family to go deeper into this subject. In fact, our son is an engineer and holds a patent in charging EVs. Today also I stayed away from political and environmental issues because there are varying opinions on that. But what I can say is, for Brenda and me and many folks in our generation, it's important for us to support the EVs because our children and our grandchildren have a stake in the future, and they believe it's important. Plus the fact that having an EV makes us cool. They love to come over and visit and want to take a ride in our car. So thanks again for joining on the Wardenberg Family Farm. Bye-bye. You hit the turn signal, Alex. I think Chloe's gonna like that. All the grandkids love it.
Oh, yeah, Tyson's gonna love this, you know.
Emission testing mode.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Okay.
How old are you guys?
We're in the twilight zone.